Nate Moe here for Moe Strength. I'm going to take you through a sway drill. Sway drill is something we do for change of direction, body position, and agility. Done usually first 4 weeks of the off season. We want to use 2 6-inch cones, or you can use some taller water bottles, which I'm going to be using today. Starts with just some stationary positions, and it's really focusing on some hip mobility and getting into the right positions. And it's utilized as a good little warm-up for teaching change of direction position. And then it covers a little more distance and becomes a little bit more dynamic and progressive. So something I really like here. So what we do starting out is we take our cones or our water bottles, raise them up, and then just squat down, and that's where they're set for us individually. And usually a taller person is going to be longer, have a longer wingspan, so they're going to be set up out a little bit. First one is just the sway drill. We're going to set our feet slightly wider than hip width apart, toes straight ahead. We're going to squat down, a good athletic position, and I'm just going to shift my weight back and forth 3 times, touching. And notice I'm not doing this tipping teapot. I'm shifting my weight and pushing off the inside of that back leg. So I'm not up and down, I'm not teapot, I'm shifting side to side. That's the sway drill. Then the wide sway, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our foot as a distance, and I'm just gonna set my foot right there and go out 1 spot and 1 foot on the other side. The wide sway, we're gonna go a good wide stance here. And I know you're never going to be like this on the field, or we certainly don't want to be, but we're remaining stationary. So we're using each leg to balance each other. And you will be pushing at this angle a lot of times when you're changing direction in a sport like basketball, volleyball, tennis, soccer. So we're gonna do that wide sway. We're gonna drop down and we're shifting. And we wanna keep our chest up so the coach can read what's on my shirt, and I'm shifting and I'm feeling that push. And we're gonna touch about 3 times. So I'm not coming up and back down, I'm just pushing laterally, okay? That's the wide sway. Our next step, we're gonna add a little bit more movement to it and a little bit faster. So we're going to move those out another foot, and I'm going to go ahead and move them back. So hopefully you can see my cones here. So I'm going to move them out a little wider, foot length. Now we're going to do what we call a lateral lunge. And we want to look at it not so much like a lunge, but doing it dynamically. So now, instead of being right in the middle, I'm going to put my right foot directly in the middle, and that cone or that water bottle is just my kinesthetic cue to get down into position here. So I'm here, and I'm gonna lunge down, touch, and push back, push back, push back. Now I'm going to go put my left foot in the middle and do the same thing to this side. Push, push. So I'm really focused on that push of that back leg. That's how we can really are going to move in any change of direction, is that back leg loaded, push, and either shuffle or sprint. So that's a little bit more dynamic there. I'm going to move back a little farther. Now, here's where we actually will bring them back in. 1 length of our foot on each side. So I'm 1 foot length wider than my original start position when I set my hands, but I'm back in 1 set here. Now we're going to do the shift. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the right, and my right toe is going to be pointing directly at the cone or the water bottle. I'm going to touch that cone with my right hand. That's just making sure I'm down there in a good position. And I'm going to actually jump across. But what I'm really focused on is this back leg and that push there. And then over here, I'm focused on the deceleration of this leg into a good position to, again, change directions. And we'll go there and back twice. So I'm here, down here. This is just touching. It's just my cue to be in a good position. And I'm going to push, 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 push. Notice the angle, and that's not easy for them. A lot of people want to do a kind of a bound where they pick up that inside foot. What we're doing is we're actually jumping, but we don't want to jump up high. We're staying low in a angle where we would be when we change directions. So we would do it from the other side, there and back twice. Now my left hand is down, touching, letting me know I'm in a good position. My knees are in line with my toe. I'm gonna push, 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 push. So that other mistake would be actually jumping, but coming up really high, okay? We wanna stay low and push laterally, push laterally. That is the sway, or excuse me, the shift. The next one is the exact same thing, but we start out a little bit wider. We call it the belly button shift. So instead of my toe being directly in line with that cone, I'm going to put my belly button in line with the cone. So what am I doing? I'm covering a greater distance without moving the cone. So in order to cover that greater distance, I have to apply more force with this back leg. So it's going to look like this. If I'm not getting far enough, if I'm not applying enough force, then I'm going to be reaching or lunging for that cone. If I'm getting in the right position, then my hand can just go right down and touch that cone. So we're becoming a little bit more dynamic. And then our next stages are going to actually add an acceleration or a sprint to that. So we would do a shift back, and then a sprint. So it would be a sprint laterally first, away from the direction that we just came. So that's that change of direction. Then it would be a 45-degree forward, and then a 45-degree backward. So I'm going to show you those now. This would be a shift into a lateral sprint. So I'm going to actually start over here. I'll go across, back, and sprint. Pay attention when I push off that last time. It's going to be a push here and a directional step into a sprint. So it's going to start off just like that regular shift. So it's going to be shift, shift, sprint. The advantage of the cones is they're actually going to stay in place and not get knocked around all over the place. Okay, but you're getting into that position and then quickly applying force, taking that directional step to clear the hips, open the hips into a sprint. Okay, the next one would be at a 45-degree angle forward. So it's going to look similar. Shift, shift, sprint. And you would do these starting on both sides, so you're getting them going both ways. Typically, we would do 1 or 2 reps each direction for that. So back at a 45-degree angle, we're gonna, when we come back here, then we're gonna open up. It's still a push and a directional step. I'm gonna actually move these forward. When you're doing them on the field, you're going to want to have more room than this, but I'm going to shift across, shift back, directional step, and attack back at a 45-degree angle. It's going to look like this. Shift, shift. That is the sway drill. And we called it the Radcliffe sway drill because we picked it up from Jimmy Radcliffe, who was a longtime strength coach at Oregon. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe, and go check out mostrength.com.